Hello everybody, Zach Butler YGO back with another deck video. This time I'm going to be showing a deck that I think is actually really good for newer players looking to break into the competitive scene, maybe those looking to hone in on some technical play, as well as those on a budget, even though there are a couple of expensive cards in here. Overall, you're going to be spending next to nothing compared to pretty much any other deck in the game, and that's going to be the Morganite Stun deck. If you are looking to pick up any of these cards, go ahead and use the affiliate link down in the description below. And if you ever have a suggestion, go ahead and either comment it or join my Discord. That's actually where I got the suggestion to build this deck from. So we'll go through the deck first, and then I will kind of explain the key concepts of it as we go. First, we will go into the Morganite cards, since that is kind of the whole focus of the deck here. And first up, you have Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, level 4 Dark Spellcaster monster. This is a brand new card out of Duelist Advance, and what Morgana says is that it's always treated as a Morganite card, so that's a big win right there. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish one Morganite spell from your graveyard and negate that attack, so that's always going to be pretty decent there. Good way to slow down the game. And you can only use the following effects of Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Morganite spell from your deck to your hand. And if you have 3 more Morganite spells with different names in your graveyard and or banishment, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls to 0. Now, there's only 3 Morganite spells currently in the game, but she can search them all out, and we'll actually go through them. The first one is Succumbing Song Morganite. This is a super rare from what is that? Rhoda. I don't know what set that was, but it's Rhoda. For the rest of the duel, apply the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Okay, so that means that there's going to be no hand traps in this deck. Monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So it turns every monster you have into a Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, which is pretty cool. And if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. So that's pretty good right there. But the main reason you're going to be playing 3 of this card is because of the following effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Morganite card from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So you can actually search for Morgana. You can also search for the next 2 Morganite cards. We have Time Tearing Morganite, which says that for the rest of the duel, applying the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand, so they all have that effect. And then draw 2 cards instead of 1 for your normal draw during your draw phase. And you can conduct 2 normal summons or sets per turn, not just 1. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then discard 1 Time Tearing Morganite. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon this turn. Now, this is only a 1-of, and that's because, honestly, this is the weakest Morganite card. The drawing 2 cards doesn't really matter all that much, and its graveyard effect is not great. But it is pretty great that you can get 2 normal summons, and thanks to Morgana as well as Succumbing Soul Morganite, it is easily accessible from the deck. And then we have the all-new Guilt Gripping Morganite. This is what kind of ties the whole deck together, honestly, as a competitive strategy. For the rest of this duel, apply the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand, so definitely no hand traps in this deck. You can normal summon level 5 or higher monsters without tributing, and you do not pay life points to activate spell or trap cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 1 Morganite card in your hand, place the revealed card on the bottom of the deck, then draw 1 card. So this even helps dig through your deck more. So the whole thing here is that Succumbing Song can get you to all of these, and Morgana then can get you to all of these because of Succumbing Song, or itself. The main one you want to get to, though, is Guilt Gripping, because it means that you can set up all of your additional normal summons for the rest of the duel. And those are Majesty's Fiends, Vanity's Fiends, and an Archlord Christio. This is a stun deck. You are not doing much, and neither is your opponent. If you're unfamiliar, Majesty's Fiend says that it cannot be special summoned and monster effects cannot be activated. That's it. Vanity's Fiend cannot be special summoned, and neither player can special summon monsters. And then Archlord Christia, if you have exactly 4 fairies in your graveyard, which you won't, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned that way, you can target a fairy in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Never going to happen. Neither player can special summon monsters, and if this face-up card would be sent from the field to the graveyard, place it on top of the deck instead. So you constantly have stunned monsters, and that is the main focus of the deck, is if you can get one of these two out in particular, you're going to be giving your opponent a hard time. Or even Majesty's Fiend backed up with some of your trap cards can be really detrimental to your opponent. Having no monster effects is really hard for any of the current meta strategies to work. Think of the Mitsurugi decks or the Malice decks. Now cut out any monster effects or special summoning, and suddenly those decks don't do anything. That is the first part of the deck. Then we have, for consistency, 2 Foolish Burial Goods, because you are definitely going to want to send that Succumbing Song Morganite to the grave to then get to your Guilt Gripping or Time Tearing Morganites, or even Morgana the Witch of Eyes, depending on your hand composition. From there, you have a Card of Demise, since you don't really have any monsters and you want to see as much of your deck as you can. 1 Pot of Prosperity, and then 3 Pot of Dualities, because you are doing no special summoning in this deck almost ever. The last spell I play is actually 3 Super Polys in the main deck, and that's because I wanted to have a good board breaker going second, and I figured Super Poly kind of just hits the nail on the head for that. And as you saw with our no special summoning or any real engine extra or primary part of our deck, your extra deck is open for whatever you need, so it is basically all Super Poly targets. But that is it for the spells. Then for the trap cards, there are a ton. Because remember, we don't have to activate any, or we don't have to pay life points to activate any of our spells or traps. So we have 3 Solemn Judgment, 3 Solemn Warnings, 3 Solemn Strikes, and 3 Iron Thunders. If you're unfamiliar with Iron Thunder, it says that when a spell card, trap card, or monster effect is activated on the field, pay half your life points, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, then destroy any other cards in the same column the destroyed card was in that are in monster zones or spell or trap zones. So you need to be careful where you're placing your cards and what you're negating with Iron Thunder, but you can definitely clear out some pretty good stuff there. And then the last trap card, this is currently the only truly expensive card in the deck, because if you look through here, none of these cards are worth more than just a couple dollars. Foolish Burial Goods is a few dollars for the secret rare, but the Morganite cards I think are $6 at most. Vanity's Fiend is pennies, and Duality and Prosperity are $1 or $2 each, thanks to the rarity collections. But I am currently playing 3 Dominus Impulse. Now, if you don't have those, that is not an issue at all. You can play something like Crackdown. You can play another board breaker like Forbidden Droplet. The Crackdown I just mentioned was actually something I was originally considering playing, but I wanted to have some form of a hand trap, so I decided on Dominus Impulse. From there, we have our extra deck. Like I said, though, it is basically just up to player preference because it is so open-ended. We have Mud Dragon of the Swamp, 2 Garura Wings of Resident Life. These are your main 2 Super Poly targets because Mud Dragon takes care of monsters with the same attribute and different types. And Garura takes care of the same type and attribute, but different names. So mono-type decks like Malice and stuff can deal with Garura, and other decks can deal with Mud Dragon. Then you have Duke of Demise, again, just kind of a throwaway Super Poly target. Takes 2 Fiend and or zombie monsters. You've got Earth Golem Adignister, which takes a Cybers monster and a Link monster, so it's particularly good against the Malice deck. I threw in a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon because it takes 2 monsters on the field, except tokens that are dark, so that can be pretty much anything. Again, really good into Malice or Mitsurugi. And then you've got Chaos Star Source Dragon. This takes 1 light or dark dragon monster plus a dragon monster. Now this one's a bit more of a fringe one, but I figured we have the open extra deck space, might as well utilize it for that. And there's a Predaplant Dragostapelia as well, which takes a fusion monster plus a dark monster. So if you're playing against a fusion-based deck like Gem Knights or even Branded, then that can come up. There's a World Chalice Guard Dragon Almarduke, which takes 3 Link monsters. So against Malice in particular, if they do the full field, you have that to back your field up, which is going to be pretty good because you can just simply Super Poly that away and then you are good to go. From there, I play a single Chaos Angel. I figure if ever there is a time where I summon Morgana and then Majesty's Fiend, I can go ahead and make a Chaos Angel. Then you've got 2 Typhons, 1 Zeus to go over the Typhons, just in case it ever comes up, and then 1 Dark and 1 SP. That is it, and you'll notice that none of these cards in the extra deck, again, are particularly expensive besides Chaos Angel, which isn't even necessary for the deck. I don't think it'll ever honestly come up, but I figured since the deck was open-ended enough, I wanted to have the options. Then for the side deck, there's 3 Chaos Hunter. Now the cool thing about Chaos Hunter is that this is your replacement for Artifact Lancia, because remember, you can't really use hand traps in this deck. But because it is a level 7 monster, you can just normal summon it. And that actually can come up pretty often in this deck, and I think it'd be pretty cool to do. Then there's 3 Inspector Borders and 1 Fossil Dynapack Depending on the matchup, maybe you want to take out the Majesty's Fiends or the Archer Christia and just bring in these. Again, just kind of good stun cards. Then there's 3 Forbidden Droplet for when you go second to help with the board breaking. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. 2 Lightning Storms. Again, that board breaking is so important. And then currently it's 2 Solemn Scoldings. These could very easily become evenly matched though, just for, to side into 5 board breakers. Not quite sure what I want to do there. But that is the deck. It is honestly that straightforward. There is not much to say about it. It's a very simple strategy. Really lets you hone in on your technical play and make sure that you're playing your cards to their maximum efficiency, because remember, you're playing such a low to the ground deck that everything you do has to be optimized. You have to make sure you're doing things as efficiently as possible, using your Solemns correctly, using your monster summons correctly, using Super Poly at the most opportune time, picking the right cards off of your Super Poly or your Pot of Prosperity and your Pot of Dualities. Things like that. All of that really does matter with this deck. So let me know down below what you think. If you want to see some gameplay with this, I'm probably taking this to locals because honestly it seems like a lot of fun. And it's, like I said, just a nice chill deck, a big departure from what I've been playing lately. If you have any other questions, though, let me know down below. Until next time, though, have a wonderful day.